Hi! So a question that I got recently was how I homeschool with a 3-year-old and like what I do to incorporate her in school and what I do to kind of keep her busy and not distract the older kids that are doing school. And I just want to start by saying that some days it's crazy and it doesn't work at all how I planned, and then other days it worked great. When she was 2 though, it was rough. It just was. Last year I had she was 2, and then I had my 4-year-old who was in pre-K, and then I had my daughter who at the time was 7, and she was in 2nd grade. And I think last year was probably my hardest year. I don't know, there's something about 2. It was rough, I'm not going to lie. So I came up with some things I wanted to do differently this year, and it has worked great. I mean, this year is honestly just like night and day from last year to me. But I don't think all of it has to do with the stuff I came up with. I think a lot of it just has to do with the fact that she's 3 and she's a year older and things are just easier. My first tip would just be setting some like rules and boundaries when it comes to school. So what I do is, one of the rules we have is we do school in our kitchen. Like 90% of our school days in our kitchen. So for her, she is allowed to come and go as she pleases. But when she's in the kitchen with us, she has to be doing school with us. So that obviously looks different for her than it does for the other kids, but she has to be doing whatever I assign her for school. So a lot of times she will just kind of do whatever we're doing, especially if we're doing art or if we're doing any kind of history or Bible. I'll usually print off some coloring sheets for her that go along with it so she can sit there and color if she wants to. And sometimes she even just sits and listens. A lot of times for science we watch videos, so she loves to come in and she'll watch the science videos with us. But she's allowed to come and go as she pleases. The other 2 kids who are in kindergarten and 3rd grade are not. So that's kind of the first rule, is that the older 2 are not allowed to do that. Also, when she's in here in the kitchen with us, she is not allowed, nor are the other children allowed, to bring any toys or electronics into our school area. So, and I'm pretty much like this even when we're not doing school. I really like toys to be kept in the bedroom so the whole house doesn't get messy, but especially during school, it is a rule that whenever you're playing with toys, they have to stay in your room. And you cannot bring anything in here. And she'll try sometimes. She'll still bring this or that in here. And even if it's one little thing, I'm very strict about it. And no, you have to take that back to your room. If you want to play with it, you can play with it, but it has to be in your room. And that's just because the older kids will get distracted by something if they bring it in here. Like a lot of times she wants to bring her camera in here, and she'll start snapping pictures, and then my kindergarten will say, hey, can I take a picture with your camera? And it just becomes a huge distraction. So she's not allowed to bring any toys. And so the next rule I have for school is that while I'm teaching a lesson, you have to listen. So if she's in here with me and I'm teaching a lesson, usually that would be for like Bible or for history, where I'm actually physically standing up in front of the table and teaching, she has to either sit down and listen to the lesson, or she has to go play in her room. This is not the time that you ask mom for a drink. This is not the time that you say, you know, can I color? Can I do this? I'm really strict about, you don't interrupt when I'm teaching a lesson. And that drove me crazy last year. So that's something that I learned from last year and said, okay, this year, this is a rule, guys. And we actually did use like the first week of school, and I treated it like you would in public school, where you get your kids used to the rules and the routine and everything. And so we practiced all kinds of stuff on the first week of school. Like, okay, if mom's this is what it means when I'm teaching a lesson. When I'm standing up in front of the table, I'm teaching a lesson. If I'm sitting down in my chair working one-on-one with somebody, it's usually fine for her to say, can I get a drink? Or I need help with getting something in my room or whatever. That's usually fine. It's not a huge distraction, but for some reason when I'm teaching and I get interrupted, that's really distracting to me. So I had to make that a rule. Okay, the other thing that I do is that when my older kids have a break, they are required to play with her if she wants to play with them. So that sounds kind of weird, but say my son is on, I have a routine scheduled to where each kid has some one-on-one time with me for their math and language arts. And during that time, the other one gets to have a break. And they each have plenty of break times throughout the day, especially my kindergartner. So say my son, who's my kindergartner, he's 5, is on during his break, and he goes and starts playing cars in his room, and his little sister wants to come in and play cars. Well, normally I would say, if you want to have some alone time, playtime, that's fine. You can tell her no. But during school, you can't. And I came up with that rule about 2 weeks after school because I was going crazy with them fighting and arguing about playing. He would just kept saying, I just want to play cards by myself. And she just wanted to play with her brother because he had been doing school for an hour, you know, and she just wanted to play with him. So I said, listen, I know this is weird, but during school time, you're required to play with her if she wants to. It's just not, it's not worth it to me to have to break up all these arguments and deal with all this while I'm trying to, and during that time is when I'm with my older one doing language arts. So just play with her. It's only like a 45-minute window, and, you know, I said, you play whatever you want, but if she wants to come and play with you, you have to let her. You can't kick her out of your room during school time. Okay, so those are kind of like my rules that help out with her, with the 3-year-old. All right, so my first tip is just come up with some rules that just make your life easier for school, and just make sure that you're sticking to them, because once the kids learn them after a week or two, it will get easier. All right, so the other thing that helps me with her is our routine. I do not have a schedule as far as like this is what time we do each thing, because we kind of get up when we want, we kind of go to bed when we want. We're very relaxed about time, but we do have a routine. It goes in the same order every day. So the kids know it now. If you have time to sit down and really come up with a good routine, I think it has completely blessed the school year, this routine that I came up with. And if you want to see mine, I do have a video on that on my channel on just our routine for this year. And I absolutely love it. But it really helps with her. She always does Bible with us because we sit down on the table and do breakfast together, or eat breakfast while I'm teaching the Bible, and then when they are done eating, they do their Bible activity. It makes it kind of easy for her to come and go because we have the same routine every day. And then the older kids, if I do need to step away for something with her, they're kind of used to what they should be doing. So that really helps. The kindergartner, he's still, you know, if I walk away from him, he usually won't stay on task, but we're working on it. It's a process. But I think the routine helps a lot when you have a younger one. If you have a 2-year-old, I don't know, you know, just like make it through the year, and then maybe next year will be better, like it was for me. School is just hard with a 2-year-old. It was harder than when she was a baby. I had trouble last year. But I think that if you do have a rough year, it's actually kind of beneficial, because you'll sit down over the summer and like I did, and you'll say, I have got to do better next year because I almost went crazy last year. So I came up with a lot of ideas, and it has, this year's just been, I don't know, a walk in the park compared to last year. So it does get better. Also, I think that 3rd grade is a lot easier to teach than 2nd grade. So I think that's part of it too. So the other thing that I do with a younger one in tow is you got to get help from your older kids. You have to kind of plan into the day cleaning and chores. They've gotten used to just helping out where they need to help out with her. And then another tip I have is to make things really accessible for your toddler. So if they are like mine and 3, and they can go to the potty by themselves and things like that, just make sure everything's accessible. So like when she goes to the potty, I have her wipes sitting next to her potty and a little trash can next to that, so she needs to throw it in the trash can and not the toilet, and just little things like that that make it easier, so that every time she goes, I don't have to rush in there and check and see that she did everything okay. I usually will have her cup out with water, and she just has it out all throughout the day, and I'll stick it in the fridge when she's done with it, and she can open the fridge and get it out, so she can kind of get her own drink. I also have a little drawer in the fridge that she can get to that has little snacks in it that she can grab out. But just making things accessible to her, and then also just kind of teaching her some independence. And then the last tip I have is just to kind of plan for her to do school with you. So for my older kids, they all have, I got these cool books at Five Below for mazes. So I got her one too, and this one says pre-K to 1st grade. So I get her, if I get something for my other kids, I get it for her too. And then they have a little bit of workbook time each day. We don't do a lot of workbooks, but whenever they do, a lot of times she'll want to come in and do workbooks. So I got this workbook for her, and she can just, of course, anything in here, it's come and go. If she gets tired of it, she moves on. But if she wants to do some workbook pages, I have a workbook for her. I just have, you know, stuff like that. Whatever I have for the older kids to do for school, I have sort of like a version for her. So because she likes to do what they're doing. And then I have a drawer that is in my, if you see my other videos where I just have, in my kitchen, I have a little drawer system. And the bottom drawer is hers. And she can go to it anytime she wants, or if she's wanting to stay in the kitchen with us but getting a little bored with whatever we're doing, I can quickly grab something out and say, here, you need to do this for school. And in there I have some different things, and sometimes I change it out, sometimes I don't. This has been in here about 2 or 3 weeks because she's still enjoying this stuff. So I'll leave it in here until it's either used up or she's tired of it. But this has been in here since the beginning of school. So this is like 8 or 9 weeks. She loves this. She only does this about once a week, but she loves these. But they're just the Wiki Stick alphabets. It's the big alphabet cards. Here, I'll show you one of them. And then it comes with a pack of Wiki Sticks, and she can form the letters, and then when she does that, we'll talk about the letter sounds and how F is for fish and the sound that it makes. She loves these, and she's actually learning really well with them, so I'm enjoying them too. I can put a link to these on Amazon if you want. That's where I got this, just Amazon. Simple. Then we have like pipe cleaners and beads that I got at Michael's. They go strong with pipe cleaners. She usually makes bracelets and necklaces for me out of them, and then when she's done, we take them back off and put them in there. And then I have a Color Wonder finger paint set. She likes this, and I try to put stuff in the drawer that's easy. This is nice if she wants to paint, but we're in the middle of school and I don't have time to get the whole paint set up out. This works. And then I also have one of these that I also got at Five Below. It's just a sticker dolly dress up, so she can do that too. Alright, so that's pretty much it for her drawer right now. Like I said, sometimes I change them out, sometimes I don't. There's always something easy. The point is just something I can grab out. You know, I just incorporate her into school when she wants to come in. When she doesn't want to come in, it's fine. And like I said, when she was 2, it was a lot harder. So if you're having a hard year, don't beat yourself up. It's not just you. You're not the only one, I promise. Last year was rough. With a baby, I guess the tips that I would have, what I did when I had a baby with me when I was teaching, was a lot of baby wearing. If you can get a good carrier that you like, that you're comfortable with, that your baby likes, that will save you. It will make a world of a difference. And then training your older kids to help out a lot and having a lot of built-in time to where they help, because when you have younger ones, it is hard to get schooling done, take care of them, and doing your household work like cleaning and cooking and laundry. So, you know, make your kids participate, help you out, and stick to a routine. Have some rules for school that work, and then getting your older kids to help, and then just training your youngest one to be more independent. That's really helpful. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Bye.